Hello everyone, Thomas Ronhaar here and welcome back to another league racing video on this channel. Today, as you can see, we are here at Brazil for PSGL run number 5. This is going to be one of our most crucial races in the championship. As you can see, the driver standings, it is extremely close up at front. It's Jay Benham leading the way at this moment in time on 33 points. Barry and myself on 32, Luke Smith on 30, and Jan Otmer in P5 with 21 points. So it is extremely tight up front, and it's going to be a very crucial race today. Because if we can get a very good result, we might be able to take the championship lead and pull away from the guys behind. But we need to get a good qualifying position first, and that is exactly what I'm going to try and do my best. As you can see, starting out Q1 up, it wasn't too great. Doing a 7-10 split, which is not great. It could be better, but it does the job. We just need to get a lap on the board as always, because ideally I want to have 3 new sets of tires for Q3, because around Brazil doing 3 runs is very doable. So if you ever have a league race or a solitary race or whatever kind of race and you're doing a full qualifying format around Brazil, I recommend saving as many sets of tires as possible for the last while qualifying if you have the pace to be at the front, that is. Through sector 2, which is went 50.57 split, which is pretty solid. Middle sector felt pretty good, so we're gonna probably go P1 here with 107.03, and it is indeed enough for P1. At the time, I don't think anyone beat us at the end of qualifying. As you can see, nobody went quicker than us, so we just decided to stay in. And yeah, first part of qualifying went extremely smoothly. Danny Beresnay just behind us with a .07, and then Luke Smith, Wilson Hughes, Patrick, and then Jarno and Jake down in P7, P9, our championship rivals racing today. So yeah, first part of qualifying has been very smooth. Now we're gonna move on to our first new run. I did a huge run just before and we're on P3. I don't know what the delta was. I believe it was a 7.3. Although I'm not too sure about that. Through to 1 and 2, you can already tell the time difference and the grip difference compared to Q1, and especially when you're going from a U set to a new set, you're gonna feel much more grip. You can see already 900 quicker than we just did in Q1. So this is already looking for a 6.9, potentially a 6.8, which is what we need to eventually get through to the second part of qualifying. Through sector 2 we go now, and we're nearly 3 tenths up. As you can see, we had a little bit of an oversteer moment mid corner, and I reckon we lost a near tenth because of that little moment, because the line was compromised so much, and I just couldn't get on the power. Another oversteer moment in the flat left-hander, and once again just can't get on the power this lap, and it's been a bit of a scruffy end to the lap, but it is going to be enough to eventually get us through somehow. We get into P3. You can see only just under half of Jarno, who did a really good lap from him, so it is going to be enough to get us through. You can see just about getting through to the last part of qualifying. And crucially, like I said, we have 3 sets of tires for Q3. Only 2 guys actually that have 2 sets of tires or 3 sets of tires is Danny Beresnay and Jan Otmer, and ourselves. As you can see on the minimap, those are the 3 guys that are doing a lap. And this is our first push lap. New tires obviously on the car right now, doing a .36 split, which is very good. Coming across the line, it's just a second in time. We're gonna do a 106.800, which was enough to stay P1 for at least the first part of the runs. You can see going on to my second run now, we're still P1. Our car then shoots up to P2. I believe only 100 behind us at this moment in time, and you can see we're only gonna go faster and faster and faster through the middle sector. We go once again, and we're half of 10th up right now. Nailing the apex on that right hand and through the long left, waiting to finally get on the power. And we've gained even more time through this part. And now through this little hairpin, very tricky on traction, but we managed to do that pretty nicely. 6 hammers up now, and going into the last sector, we are, according to the Delta, we were 5 hammers up, but the actual split says we were 8 hammers up. So potentially we could get into the 106.6s, but I don't know what the Delta's gonna do, so we're just gonna have to wait across the line, and it's a 106.712. Not quite enough to get into the 0.6s. I can tell you now though, this was not gonna be enough for pole position, because there's one lap, one very good lap from someone in qualifying now, which is absolutely ridiculous, and I was quite shocked about it. So last one of qualifying, braking at the 50 meter boards, down to 4th gear and then up to 5th for the exit, and we absolutely nailed the exit. We've gained even more time to our second push lap in Q3, 551 first sector, which is my PB first sector on this build. But you can see Patrick 106.564, which is absolutely ridiculous. Fair play to Patrick for that lap. And that kind of put me off guard. You can see I've missed the apex there, and that cost us potentially pole position. Who knows? We're still up by quite a bit of time, and now we need to absolutely send it in the last part of the lap. You can see absolutely nailed the traction out of the hairpin. 7 hammers up now, but still half a 10 for Patrick. And even with a perfect last, there's no way we're going to beat Patrick. Jan Altmaier goes just ahead of us with a 106.70, and we're going to come across the line to go P2. 300 behind Patrick, and yeah, fair play to Patrick. As you can see, Patrick wasn't the quickest. We just did not have the pace to beat him in this qualifying. I nearly did a PB. Patrick somehow managed to beat my PB in qualifying, which is yeah, extremely good for him. Very good lap once again. Alvaro is going to be P3, Jan Altmaier in P4, Daniel Breton in P5, Wilson Hughes P6, Jay Benham, our championship rival, P7, Muscle Keefer P8, Alfie Butcher on his return to PSGL, I believe, in P9, and then Luke Smith rounding out the top 10. So, moving on to the race, as you can see, very cloudy in this race. No rain is forecasted though, so it's just going to be a normal hard to medium strategy. And we're just going to have to wait and see how this race is going to plan out. 5 red lights once again. And as they go out now, first phase was okay, but then you can just see we get a tiny bit of wheel spin. And Patrick decided to cut off the inside, but it was very smart because now I'm vulnerable to Alvaro. And yeah, I decided to let him go because there's no point snaking around the outside there. It's going to end up in a crash. So decided to stay behind. For now, Wilson is trying to have a look into turn number 4, but we cover off very nicely and we stay in P3. So, not an ideal start. I believe Wilson had a very good start because he was P6 or even P7. So that start from Wilson was extremely good. So fair play to him. Through the middle sector we go now. We're really close behind Alvaro and Patrick. And for the first time this season, I actually felt like my race pace was somehow quicker than my quali pace, and I've been struggling in also F1 esports with my race pace compared to my quali pace. I don't know what it is with this game and me driving in race pace or race trims. I just never got up to grip fully to my full potential. You can see Patrick managed to pull a tiny bit of a gap. Alvaro, which is around half a second right now. But you'll see Patrick has been pushing really hard in these opening laps. You'll see in a few minutes time what's about to happen to Patrick, which is going to be extremely crucial for our race, because you're about to see, I believe, on lap 10 or lap 11 something is going to happen, and you can see moving on to lap 10 we lose the car, and yeah, that's the first mistake I've done out of 2. I can tell you right now. I managed to do another mistake, a bit of a slight one though, because it didn't really hurt my pace and my race. It was still not ideal. But what I was talking about with Patrick, you can see through this right-hander he cuts it a bit too much, and he gets a penalty, and yep. You can hear me say right now. That is PT for us. Saying it very comfortably because I knew around the track getting a BS or an RG warning is a normal thing around here because the warning system around here is very good. One guy though on lap 18, we skipped all the way to lap 18, pitted this lap, which was Luke Smith. I believe he was behind both the Mercedes drivers of Jarno and Jake. And then moving on another lap, you can see Patrick peels into the pit lane, the leader of this race. And also in this lap, it's going to be Wilson, Marcel Kiefer, and also Max Whistle, all peeling into the pit lane. And yeah, we decided to stay out a tiny bit longer because I feel like if I could use the DRS of Alvaro and save a bit of my battery still, it's going to be a very good strategy for us because then we have fresher tires than the guys ahead of us. Because the undercar is obviously way more powerful. You can see Alvaro at the end of lap 19 decided to pit, and I decided to box at the end of this lap. So we need to use our ERS, but also at the same time keep it kind of high to be able to attack. Alfie Butcher retired from the race. I'm not sure why he did that. Might have been a wheel issue or something happened in the pit lane. I'm not sure about it. But you can see now Captain Jan up me 5/10, and yeah, Jarno at this moment in time is planning to go very long because I knew and he knew as well that if we go long, it's gonna cost us maybe a few places, but it's gonna be extremely good for the end of the race to make overtakes. And if you have a pace advantage compared to the guys ahead, then it's gonna be really easy to overtake around this track with new tires because the straights are just so long. And if you get a good exit, I don't know what I said there, but I was very happy. But yeah, pitting into this lap now. You can see using a bit of my battery to pull away slightly from Jarno. He's going to get the ERS and he's going to stay out a few more laps. Jake Benham though behind us decided to pit with me, and we're going to put on a new set of medium tyres. Also in this lap it's going to be Tomek, and I'm not sure who the second as mine is. I think I'm about to see that in just a second of time. Putting on new mediums, and away we go. Nice smooth pit stop. And you can see Patrick Schiepers at the fastest lap, and he's gonna come alongside us right now, and he's gonna be ahead. But also ahead is gonna be Alvaro, Wilson Hughes, but very crucially, Luke Smith behind us, and he pitted I believe 2 or 3 laps earlier, but he didn't manage to make the undercut work. And in F1 esports, Luke Smith was the guy that they kind of hold me up in the race. So I guess it's a bit of a switch around now. Me having core tires and having to defend. You can see defending the inside there, but we managed to stay ahead. And at this moment in time, the tires are up the temperature around 80 to 82 degrees right now. And yeah, from now on you can see we're pulling away slightly from Luke, and we have 60% battery left, and that is pretty good because we needed some battery to be able to overtake these guys ahead. I believe Wilson and Alvaro at this moment in time did have more ERS than us, but one guy that didn't have more ERS at this moment in time was Jan Altmere, and he is gonna box this lap right now for new mediums, and it's gonna be a few cars behind us. But crucially, you can see right now Wilson Hughes, I believe he's gonna have an exact same overstep moment as me, and this is so crucial for our race because this moment from Wilson, the overstep moment, might have given me the winner. As you can see, I'm weaving Wilson also for you, saying I'm not bothered finding you. You can see now Jan Altmere is gonna come out of the pit lane, and he's gonna be behind this train, and behind, I believe this is Marcel. I believe in the net P7, P8, around there. You can also see on the minimap 2 cars are still staying out. Dylan Warren and Will Lewis, I believe, are looking to aim for a safety car because that's the only way they can somehow get a good result. Moving on now to lap 24, and this is the moment I wanted to attack. I wanted to lead and control the race. You can see I'm draining my whole battery. Although I wasn't expecting it, somehow. We go to the left, 3 wide right now, and down the inside we go, braking extremely late. but managing to stop the car, covering up Alvaro and not giving it on a good exit. And you can see right now as well, Patrick is using his battery. He's gonna close the gap ever so slightly. This is gonna be very close, but crucially, we take the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix in PSGL. But there is one more thing left to do for us, and that is to not make silly mistakes, but also not get held up by these two cars ahead. I've had some moments with Dylan Borough in the past. Obviously, WR USA, I believe, didn't record a video because that race was, yeah, very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. Moving on to lap 27 though, Dylan is gonna have the errors, but he decided to, I think he let us go. I'm not sure. He is out of errors. He's not defending, so he's not looking to try and hold me up here, which is very kind from him. And on the exit here, very late, you can see, I decided to turn my overtake. I pulled alongside of Dylan Boren. He gives me the space, and fair play to him, managing to let me through and not hold me up for the rest of the race. Alvaro also decided to overtake him, and that is a textbook move from Alvaro. But now we have Will Lewis, the only car left on the actually, the two cars left on our tires. One of them is Will Lewis. We need to overtake him. If we get stuck behind him, we are vulnerable for the cars behind, and I don't want that to happen. So, on the exit here, not using my battery, because I know even if I didn't, even if I did use, sorry, it's gonna be a pretty easy move. Very last minute though, I decided to be 100% sure I'm gonna make the move, so I decided to use a bit of my battery, and we are very low on battery, I must say. It's not looking amazing at this moment in time, but we are leading the train right now, and I knew my race pace was very strong today. So my plan is now to not use any of my battery. And you can see, moving on to lap 35, the penultimate lap of the race, Jarno has managed to gain so many places, up to P3 right now. But I can tell you right now, he has had to use a lot of his battery to be able to close up. Jake Benham, one of our championship rivals, has dropped off the train because he had an incident with Patrick and it got him damage. So that is unlucky for Jake. We're on the exit of the last corner, penultimate lap, and we're gonna go on to the final lap of the race. Decided to use my battery right here, covering up the move from Alvaro, who is gonna have a lot of EROs to play with for this final straight and the final lap. He's gonna have a ton of EROs, and I knew it was gonna be a near impossible task to keep him behind. You can see right now the gap is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You can see he's closing it so fast. We need to cover the inside, and defending very hard but very firm, and we managed to keep the lead for now with also Jan Altmaier managing to save some battery whilst we're fighting it out in the lead. He could have a chance of getting maybe P2 or even P1, but I knew if I don't make any silly mistakes in this middle sector, it is gonna look very good for us today. And coming around for the last time in the last sector in just a few moments in time, you can see the gap is 4 tenths right now, and I was so scared that Alvaro was gonna get me, but you can see the gap is 5 tenths, and I was just, yeah, you can see in a few moments time.
Let's go! Yes, finally, man! Oh, that took way too long. That took way too long. Yes, man!
And you can see my first ever PSGL Tier 1 win. It took me over a year. I've been joining this tier since I believe January 2022. Right now it's February 2023, so it took me over a year to get my first win. It may sound crazy, but I've had some bad luck in this league, but finally managing to pull it off and get my first ever win. Ahead of Alvaro Carreton in P2, Yonomi in P3, Patrick with his penalty in P4. Eventually it didn't cost many positions, so he won't be complaining to get P4 today. Jake Benham scoring some solid points P5. Otis Lawrence from P15 to P6, so that's a very good drive from him in P6. Wills use P7. Miles O'Keefe in P8. Luke Smith P9, and running out the top 10 is going to be Tomek Barachis. So, that is it. My first ever PSGL Tier 1 victory. I hope you guys enjoyed that video so much because I certainly did. Even while commentating it, I was enjoying it so much. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below if you want, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao ciao.